Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I'm so thankful for all the new subscribers that we have and the returning ones too. We are approaching a third of 1,000 subscribers, which is a really cool milestone on the channel, especially considering it's a very new channel. Aside from that, today I'm going to be talking about what I purchased in January 2025. So pretty much I'm going to be doing a video about every card or every sealed product that I buy every month moving forward. So this is kind of what that's going to look like. Lets you know what I actually put my money behind, what looks interesting to me at this point. I may not make it right away, so some things might run up a bit by the time I make the video, like this one, this Mew right here. But that's the idea. Guys, if you like Pokemon investing, hop aboard the channel, subscribe, hit that like button. Let me know if you're new in the comments. I always appreciate those comments. And now let's get into it. So guys, you see I got a raw version of this Mew from Crown Zenith. Crown Zenith has been pretty much going up nicely. The cards in it as well. And this Mew I got for less than 10 USD recently. And the reason I like it is not only is a Mew a fan favorite Pokemon, some people have been saying that everything Mew has been going up lately, especially led by that bubble Mew. But I really like this card. I like the Snow White sleeping in the woods kind of atmosphere that it's creating. I like that Mew is usually the one sneaking up on people in the anime and the movies without being noticed. Here, Mew is the one sleeping, and these other animals are noticing Mew, which is interesting, right? Just super cute as well. Has that similar vibe to the Bubble Mew card as well. Obviously, different art style, but also very cute card. Eating a pear, and a lot of popular Pokemon like 151 Nidoran there. And also you got Ponyta. I don't even remember, honestly, if it's Nidoran or if it's a different name for the first stage evolutions. You guys can let me know in the comments. But you got both the male and the female version right there, if you notice, on the bottom right. And then you got the unicorn Ponyta. I don't know if there's another name for for that Pokemon. Showing my age a bit here, but yeah, I really like that unicorn Ponyta. I think that's a cool variation of a 151 Pokemon. So that's the first purchase. We got quite a few to tell you about here. But yeah, the reason I think it's 151, I think Crown Zenith is moving up. I think this card is going to see benefits just like it already has begun to, obviously. Like if you got it a year ago, you're up 93%. But I think it's a good long-term hold. Mew is not just any 151 Pokemon. It's a really popular 151 Pokemon. Then we have this Squirtle. All right, so I got one in PSA 10. I already had a raw, but this month I added to my collection a PSA 10 version of it. So I like to see this in the price charts right here. So it came out 271 USD, right? 226 USD, 187, 180 USD. And this was its low. And now it started moving back up, right? So right now we're not buying at the top. It started its move up again. So there's some momentum to carry forward. Plus, I do think it's going to be the big chase card of Stellar Crown. I don't think the Terapagos is going to hold. I think it's a matter of when the Squirtle will pass it, not if. And I'm not too disappointed by the population report either. There's less than a 50% chance of getting a PSA 10 for everyone who's sent out for grading to PSA. So there's less than 3,000 in PSA 10 out of 6,562 graded. Obviously, 21% would be even better. And it's funny how in English, the bad print quality really helps us PSA 10 investors. But this is not bad at all. It was a lot higher PSA 10 rate in Sword and Shield, right? The Umbreon VMAX had a really high PSA 10 rate. So this excites me that it's less than 50%. I like to see that. And I think, it's a fan favorite Pokemon. It's one of the starters that we all grew up with. Everyone knows Squirtle. Plus, this card, along with the Bulbasaur, goes with that Charmander promo in the Obsidian Flames booster box, Elite Trainer box, I should say. And that one might end up in PSA 10. They're less than 400. It's already over $1,000. It might end up being one of the most expensive, if not the most expensive card in PSA 10 of the Scarlet Violet era. So having this card as its best companion piece, along with the Bulbasaur, but Squirtle is usually even more popular, like in this set, I think this is a great time to pick up the PSA 10, and I did that. Another one I picked up that I already had in Raw, but if I see a good deal, I'll grab the PSA 10 too, is the Arbok. I love this art. I love the upside down version of it. We can see here that in PSA 10, it dropped. And then again, like I said before, it started going back up. Again, you're not buying at the high here. It's a 151 Pokemon. It's a great artwork, in my opinion. And I think a lot of these illustration rares, especially of known Pokemon, 151 Pokemon, popular Pokemon, are going to do well in the long run. So this was a pickup for me as well. One that I'm even more excited about, and I got my second PSA 10 of, is Scizor from Obsidian Flames. I'm one of the few people that get excited about Obsidian Flames, but I did pay more this time than last time, but I think it's still a pretty fair price right now for the PSA 10 Scizor. Something that really excites me here. See, it hasn't taken off into the stratosphere, let's say. We've been around the same point since July 2024. So it could take off at any point, potentially. But what excites me especially about this is that the PSA 10 population is only 367. And we know that Paldea Evolved has a really good PSA 10 situation because grading the cards are so hard, and they're usually around 20-21% chance of getting a PSA 10. And that's been doing really well for the Magikarp, for other cards like the Meryl as well. Here, Scizor has an 18% chance of getting PSA 10 of all the people that sent out their cards that they assume, like you'd assume they think they're good enough to get at least a PSA 9 or 10, because why pay otherwise, right? So you have the cream of the crop being sent in and only an 18% chance of getting a PSA 10. Very excited. This is less than the Obsidian Flames Charmander with the Pokemon Stamp promo has, and it's less than, I believe it's less, and it's definitely less than the Paldea Evolved ETB Pikachu promo with the stamp in PSA 10. So with such a limited amount, such a difficult chance of getting a PSA 10, I don't think obviously Scizor is as popular as Charmander and Pikachu, like that must be said. But I do think it's a very popular Pokemon. It's always been a very cool Pokemon. Some people even call it the best designed Pokemon. I think the art's amazing. And it is related to Gen 1, right? It's the evolution of Scyther. So it even has Gen 1 tie-ins, Gen 2. A lot of us who like Gen 1 were there for Gen 2 too. So I think this was an interesting purchase at this point. And I think it has a lot of room to grow, especially because these earlier Scarlet and Violet sets, and I'm thinking the first three specifically, Scarlet and Violet, Paldea Evolved, and Obsidian Flames, I think that they have less chance of being reprinted at this point compared to everything after it, obviously. And the printers are going to be busy because we're not getting the enough Surging Sparks that we want. We're not getting enough Prismatic Evolutions. It's already clear we're not getting enough Journey Together. There's going to be Team Rocket later. All the sets in between these early Scarlet and Violet sets. It would shock me at this point if they reprinted Obsidian Flames. So for that reason as well, I feel like it's a good time to get into the Obsidian Flames PSA 10s, especially Scizor. Raichu is an interesting one, right? So this is the second most expensive last time I checked card in Paldea Evolved after the Magikarp. Let me just double check that to make sure, or at least the most expensive illustration rare. Let me just see where the Iono is at these days. Checking on my phone just so it's quicker than looking it up here. Okay, so the Iono, to be fair, is second after the Magikarp, but Raichu is third place, and obviously I do think Raichu can surpass the Iono, just like the Magikarp did. Iono was the first, by the way, guys. The illustration rares are on an uptrend. Iono has kind of been on a downtrend. And then it's followed by Good Company with Tyranitar, the Godzilla one, and Meryl, which has been a beast lately. So Raichu, arguably the most popular illustration rare since Magikarp in that set. It's a 151 Pokemon, not just that. It's the evolution of Pikachu, the mascot of the entire series, the most loved Pokemon. And then you add in the fact that what happened to the Magikarp already. You add into the fact that there's even less of these, and it's the chance of getting a PSA 10 is just as hard as the Magikarp. And then we look at these charts. It has really been moving. It's not even at its all-time high here, interestingly enough. So I think it was a great time to buy a second one. So I already had one, but I thought it was a great time to buy a second one because I can definitely see, just like the Magikarp did, this making some big moves. Again, an interesting quality to it is I do like the art, and it's interesting that it's sleeping, right? Sleeping adds another dimension to it as well. Here's the population report. So 577 PSA 10s out of 2,647 submitted. Obviously, with this huge selection of illustration rares in Paldea Evolved, it's hard to hit a specific one. And then you combine that with the fact that it's hard to get a PSA 10. The percentage here is like 21% chance of everyone who sent in. So to me, Raichu is a no-brainer as well. Leafeon. Now, this I got because partly as a collector, although I do think it'll go up long term. And something that does excite me here is that when it came out, let's see here, up until February 2022, so the PSA 10 held strong for a while, for months, at a higher point than it is right now. That's the crazy thing. So we know it could reach higher. That's one. Two, Evolving Skies might go down as the single greatest set in Pokemon history. Not talking necessarily financially, but just the quality of the cards, the quality of the artwork, and obviously financially it is getting more and more expensive. No doubt in my mind that it's going to hit team-up numbers eventually, and they'll just keep growing over time. Team-up will keep growing too. So the booster box will get more expensive, but that is not reflected. The booster box growth is not reflected in this card. Now, personally, why did I get this? I literally have all of the Evolution VMAXs in Evolving Skies in PSA 10, and I have all of the normal Evolution Vs in PSA 10, except I didn't have this one because I never found a good enough deal that made sense to me, but I did recently find one. So do I think it's going to go up? Yes, I do, but I also wanted to add it to my collection. So now I officially have every Evolution VMAX and Evolution V in PSA 10 that's in Evolving Skies. So that was half collection piece, half investment. Another very interesting investment at this point to me is one of my worst performing investments. I got caught up in the hype when this came out. Pokemon Trading Card Game Classic. I loved the fact that it was expensive. Ironically, I thought, they won't make a lot of them because it is so expensive, and I like that the idea of owning something that there won't be a bunch of them. They won't be mass produced. And maybe I underestimated how much they would make because, they're still selling. But why this is interesting to me now especially is because it's fallen so much. So it's fallen all the way to 238 USD. You could argue at 350 or higher USD, this wasn't a good deal. But I just find it even here, like, see, they rejected the floor here, and then it went back up a bit. People thought it was too cheap, and now it's going a bit down again, and it could potentially get even lower. But Costco, guys, Costco was selling this for 250 Canadian, not USD. So it was just a no-brainer. I mean, that is so cheap. It's way less than the current market value on Costco. And you're getting, like, the Charizard alone in it is worth over 150 Canadian. And the whole thing is 250 at Costco. So I got another one. I invested more. I doubled down into one of my worst performing investments so far. So now I hold 3 of these all together. And we'll see what happens. But there is interesting stuff here. There's nostalgia, right? You have Venusaur, Charizard, Blastoise, you have the Mewtwo, you have the Articuno, you have all these classic cards together. I don't think there's a lot of them, because if you look at the pop reports, there's only, like, if I remember correctly, 1,500 Charizards. I'm going to go by memory. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But I think there was like 1,500 of these Charizards in PSA 10, which to me doesn't lead me to believe that there's a lot of these out there, because I feel like if there were, the population reports would be like 10,000, right? So I do think that maybe we're underestimating how many of these are out there. Maybe Costco has a lot, but at that price point, I just don't think you can lose. 250 Canadian, something that I wasn't happy with the performance up to this point, but at this price point, it's become a buy for me. And if Costco keeps having them, I may keep buying them month to month. Another interesting product to me is the Paldea Adventure Chest again. Costco coming through. I could get it. I got it below around 40 Canadian, below market value on Costco. Why do I like this? I like this because it has a good illustration rare Pikachu promo. Aside from that, you get 2 Scarlet and Violet booster packs, you get 2 Paldea Evolved booster packs, and you get 2 Obsidian Flames booster packs. Like I said, I think those are outside of the reprint window. And I like all of those sets. I think they're good. Yeah, you might say some of them, like Obsidian Flames and Scarlet and Violet, I know some people don't think they're the best sets, and I agree they're not the best, but to me they're solid. And something like this with an interesting and good promo of Pikachu, along with like good, solid selection of packs, I think that's a great long-term investment. And if you can get it at Costco prices, it's hard to beat that. So that's definitely something I picked up this month in January. And then something that I have coming that I pre-ordered were the surprise boxes on the Pokemon Center website in Canada. So these have gone absolutely insane. I never thought this would go that much. The only reason it's going this much is because people are speculating how much the stamped promo, that you don't know which one you're going to get, but how much the stamped card on it is going to be worth, right? So you can get any one of the Evolutions or Eevee probably. And I'm sure the Umbreon would be the most expensive. And then depending on how expensive that Umbreon with the stamp on it is, it's going to determine how expensive these boxes are when it comes out. But people are obviously hopeful, and that's reflected in the price here. The lesson takeaway is, I know these are sold out on the Pokemon Center, but if you see Prismatic Evolutions anywhere, if you see it at Costco, if you see it at a retail store like Walmart, right? If you can get it for those retail prices, I would just scoop it up. You guys see the power of Prismatic Evolutions here. I've already done a video explaining why I think it'll do well. You got Evolving Skies 2.0. You got all the Evolutions plus Eevee in there. Evolving Skies didn't even have that because some were taken away to be in promos and stuff. And then you have other amazing cards as well, plus the Master Balls, which are hard to hit, and some people aren't excited about that, but that is absolutely amazing for card prices, which in turn is amazing for product prices at the end of the day. That Umbreon card will probably be the chase card of the Scarlet Violet era. There's a good chance of that happening. So there's just so much to love here. Yeah, I also have 4 boxes, Elite Trainer boxes of Prismatic Evolutions, Pokemon Center coming as well. I got that on Pokemon Center before they sold out. This I think is going to be a great long-term hold for those who got it at a good price. I wouldn't get it at these prices that people are paying for it. I mean, it's absolutely insane. Someone apparently paid over 400 USD. Here we have a high price of 500 USD. Keep in mind, these are what, like 60 USD at the Pokemon Center. So I would never pay these high prices, but keep an eye out. Hopefully, there will be people reselling them down the line. And if Journey Together is as popular as people are making it out to be, which I honestly don't think it's as good as Prismatic Evolutions, but if focus switches there, if it switches eventually at the Team Rocket set, which is going to be obviously amazing too, maybe at some point you could find these at a reasonable price. Now I would avoid them at the time being, but just want to let you know what I ordered this month, what I have coming. And yeah, that is it for this one, guys. Remember to like and subscribe for more Pokemon investing. Let me know what you picked up this month. What do you think is a good deal? Honestly, this pickup video is different than just what I would pick up if I was starting over from scratch, because, for example, I do think Scarlet and Violet booster boxes, I can get it for 200 Canadian right now. I do think that's a good deal if you don't have any, but I have 7 of the booster boxes, right? So I didn't buy any this month. That might change next month. We'll see. But just to give you guys a heads up, sometimes, even if there are good deals out there, I may not be going for it just because I'm satisfied at the time with my position in whatever that specific product is. But that is it for this one, and I'll see you guys in the next video.